Welcome to the Remora Professional controller video, where we're going to explain how the features on the controller work. So as you can see, we've got a full TFT color screen and it's touch screen. So for example, if you want to lock it, we can unlock it and unlock it by the controller here. When it's locked, none of the other functions will interact. As soon as it's unlocked, we can then interact with the unit. So that's the first thing. We've got our logo up here and we've also got the time and date. So the first thing is if you want to set the time and date, we click on the time and date and then we can change the time, the date, the day, the hours and the minutes. Then what we've got on the front screen, the main information that we're seeing here is the mode that it's in, the target set point. If it's off, it shows off. If I press the power button in a second, it will show the inlet water temperature. We can also see here the ambient temperature sensor and the outlet water temperature sensor. So I haven't got this connected to a filtration system, so we're not going to run it. We're just going to turn it on so you can see it and then we'll turn it off. So now it's turned on, we can see inlet 22.5 and it's all a bit brighter on the display to show that it's running. So I'm going to turn that off and it goes to a different, slightly duller screen to show it's not on. Then I'm going to show you the menu. So in the advanced menu, we have the settings. So in the settings menu, this is where we can go into the advanced parameters, but that's for our technicians only. Then we've got the status, which is all of the readings from the sensors. And this is open for everyone to see on the unit, so you can go up and down to read through all of those settings to see what's active and what's not and what sensors are reading what temperatures. You have the energy consumption. Well, we've not had this on a system running, so we're not going to see running time, but on here you can see the running log, so you can see in what mode, how many hours and what kilowatts it's consumed. You can also clear the timer here at any point. We have the fault history. So this is quite handy because it allows us to see a series of faults, whereas on a lot of units, it will only ever show you the last fault, whereas actually on here we can see time and date of when those faults have actually occurred. We've got the help menu. In the help menu, this just shows you what the error codes mean. So if you get an EO1, what the failure is, etc., and what the solution would be. And there's 12 pages of that for you to go through to see what all of those relate to. We then have the situational, which is what power mode it's in. So we could have it in eco, we can put it in boost, we can have it in auto, which is in the smartest mode, and we can also put it in silent so that it will run as quiet as possible. Obviously, when it's running as quiet as possible, it's also not producing as much output, so there's a balance there. The brightness settings, well, we can change the brightness, so we can bring the brightness down, or we can put the brightness back up to the full so you can see it. We have the silent option here, and all that does is gets rid of the bleep. So now when we change between those things, we can't hear a beep. So now when I change, you'll hear the beep. Then we have our temperature reading. So this is allowing us to change between Fahrenheit and Celsius. So if I change to Fahrenheit and go to the front screen, we can now see it's 84 as the set point. If I come back here and change it to Celsius, we're now back to 29 degrees C. Defrost, that's a manual defrost button. So if I click on that, we're not going to do anything because it's off at the moment, but that's what would put a manual defrost in. We're going to come to the Wi-Fi in a separate video because obviously there's a bit more into that. So this is where we'd set up the Wi-Fi. So we'll come back to that. Then in the timers, we can set our on timer, off timer, and we can send up to 2 schedules here. If you're on the app, you can set more. so you can have as many as you like actually on the app. We've got the mute, which is where we will mute the running of the unit and the noise that it produces between a certain time. And vacation mode is a quite handy tool that allows us to set the time that we're away and the time that we're off, and then the time that we're going to come back, so that the heat pump can come back on within that setting to come back on ready for when you get back. Okay, and that's pretty much the display in the functionality that's there, and then we'll do another video to show the Wi-Fi connection.